Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, entitled Mom Lies to Manager and Cop and I Get Handcuffed. The second story, bosses will never accept that they're wrong until you throw their own signature back in their face. Protect yourselves. Don't let them take their anger out on you. You're the one who's actually making something of worth for them to profit off of. The third story, deleted all the work done and they're losing customers. They also lost almost all their employees. The first story is entitled Mother at GameStop Involving the Police and Me Ending in Handcuffs. EP, entitled Parent. EK, entitled Kids. GM, GameStop Manager. P, Police. I went to GameStop on Saturday to pick up chat with a friend and browse the merchandise. I also wanted to get an Xbox X and a PS4 along with some games. Roughly spend more money there than I ever have before. I was there for about an hour or two having conversations with 3 people. 1 employee, my friend, and the manager. After a while, I was talking with the employee about specifications between the consoles and the differences between the versions of the PS4. The manager stepped out for lunch. A short time later, EP and EK walked in and rushed to the Switch section. While I was shifting through the games, the employee went to ask them if they needed help finding anything. She asked some questions, but I tuned them out while me and my friend talked about certain games. About 20 minutes later, I knew what I was getting. The employee was getting everything together. A PS4 Pro, 2 controllers, PSVR and 5 games, an Xbox One, an Elite controller, an Astro headset and 4 games. My friend was talking about a game he wanted, and I said I'd get it for him as a favor for helping me out a few months ago. He thanked me and that was it. Almost. The EP and EK saw what was going on and heard me, and they came right over and the EP asked if I would help her and her children and buy them a game. I said no thank you. She was looking at me like I was crazy and said, "You're buying him what he wants. Why don't you buy my kids something?" I told her that he's my friend and I'm giving him something back after he helped me out. She looked at everything on the counter and said, "How old are you? You're too old to be playing all those games. You don't need them. You should give them to my kids." I said my age is irrelevant. People of any age can play video games, and your children are too young to play the games I'm buying. They're rated M for mature, and I'm not going to buy your children things they don't need. She then tells her kids to beg for the video games, and I quickly turn to her and tell her that you're not a responsible adult and parent by teaching your kid to beg for free stuff. She continues to tell her kids as I'm talking to my friend. Suddenly, I'm grabbed by 2 children pulling on me and jumping, begging me to get them something. I gently take their arms off me and keep them away, and the kids began crying, and the mother said, "You just touched my children, you pervert. I'm calling the police." A minute before she calls the police, the manager comes back and sees me grabbing the kids and pushing them away and tells me to let go of those kids. I told him the whole story, but he wasn't believing it. He only saw a fragment of the confrontation. The manager talks to the woman and she completely lies about what happened. She said that I tried to bribe her to touch her kids, while nobody was looking, and to even attempt to bribe her with the games I was buying. I was laughing at the conversation that was being said, and I said, "Surely you can't believe this." He was already on the phone with the cops. The employee was in the back of the building during all of this, and I thought I was screwed, because I've seen issues like this, and worse because people automatically go with the woman's story. I may be wrong in some implications, but it's very common for people to believe women over anything. 10 minutes later, the cops arrive, and when I try to talk to one of them, she butts in to give her story first. So she tells the same story to the cops, and the manager tells the same, and the cops look at me and one of them puts me in handcuffs without hearing my side. I'm totally freaking out by how this has come down, onto me being the bad guy based on a lie. I finally get to tell them my side of this story, and even my friend backs me up, but I was told her story is more believable than mine, and I said, "You'll believe her without proof?" They have security cameras in every corner of the building. Look at the footage and see for yourself. The look on her face was life-shattering. She tried to say that she wasn't going to press charges, but they wanted to keep her here. The manager and one of the officers go look at the surveillance video and soon come out and take the cuffs off of me, and they apologized. They asked me why she attempted to lie to them and ruin my life and reputation, and she replied with, "He's too old to be playing those games. He should give them to me and my kids." They asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said no, but I don't want her to get a slap on the wrist for this. They talked to her outside, and after identifying her, they found that she had a warrant for her arrest for something else. I was just flabbergasted over the whole situation. The manager tried to apologize for how he reacted to the situation, and I just told him I wanted a copy of the footage. He asked why, and I said ask the cops, 'cause I'll be making a complaint on how you present yourself. Few moments later, I get a copy and go home, and didn't even want the games anymore. A few days later, I found out that the store was closed down awaiting new staff members. I may have caused an issue with a retail manager, but he should have handled the situation more professionally. He should have checked the surveillance video in the beginning instead of calling the police. If he had done that, then that woman wouldn't have gotten arrested, and he wouldn't have been fired. I mainly feel bad for the children involved in this. They're being raised by a crazy woman who thinks begging and lying is the only way to get what you want in life. They asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said no, but I don't want her to get a slap in the wrist for this. You should have very wrongly not done that. Always say yes. Not for you, but for the next person she cheats on. There may not be a security camera next time. The crap has to go on the record or she will continue to victimize innocent people, especially since she's had cases in the past. But I am glad you filed a complaint against the manager. Blindly trusting everyone is very unprofessional, and he probably could have been fired for it. At least that's what I want to believe. Like at least somebody got what they deserved. The second story is, left the CEO speechless after he got angry at me for something I warned him about months ago. I work at a small medium game studio. I was moved over to this project late last year, and I've been pretty on top of logging issues and keeping on top of things well ahead of schedule. This project is one of those bosses have been fairly strict on for a variety of reasons I can't get into, but it does mean we're watched like a hawk from behind the scenes. If we slip up in any way, there's countless meetings and calls so that we're made aware this is all our fault, and we need to improve our processes and blah blah blah. Typical management BS to shift the blame away from their horrible planning practices and overworking us. Anyways, luckily since moving to this team, I've been quite strict about logging things in such a way that it saves our A's down the line. I've seen before how they try to frame issues on us, so my paperwork is made in such a way that they can't pull their usual stunts. Roughly 6 months ago, I logged a pretty minor visual issue, and did my usual process. Thought nothing of it, really. A couple of weeks later, I make my report, with all the issues that we weren't fixing for reason XYZ, which were discussed between us and management. They then signed off on this, and we moved on like normal. An important note here is that signing next to an issue in this form of mine means you're responsible for waiving that issue. Fast forward to just a week before Christmas. I get a text from a coworker late at night that there's an issue at work and they need me in. I'm not getting paid for that, so I don't care. I checked the work chat briefly, but after seeing how loud it was, I was just put my phone down. The next morning, I get online and all hell's breaking loose. One of my bosses, the CEO, was ranting and raving about this minor graphical problem he was experiencing. I ask a few questions, and then immediately identify it as the issue I logged 6 months ago. I link him the bug and he doesn't respond to me for a while. Later he says it was impossible and that I was wrong. This is so obvious to see. It's definitely new or I would have seen it. You just didn't log it. At this point, he's dragged about 5 other people into the group chat to explain how disgraceful this is, and how we could have missed this. I then point to the bug again and a few coworkers back me up, and say that this is the same issue. I even grab some older versions and show him that yes, this is in fact the same issue, and he just hasn't seen it himself until now. Calls me disrespectful. Asks, do you think I'm stupid? And all sorts of nonsense. At this point, I'm fed up and just post a link to my report, which he signed off on where his signature was the one next to agreeing not to fix it. Because of how I had set up my paperwork since moving to the project, it made sure he couldn't pull his usual crap, and now he had to face the fact that he was having a temper tantrum in front of the team because of a thing he signed to waive and wasted everybody's day. Afterwards, he was speechless. He didn't have any excuse to be angry toward us. It was his signature next to this issue, which he waived, and now he has to make a ton of excuses why I can't deal with this right now, and we can talk about it later. That chat never got another message, and any mentions of that issue are being quickly hushed, and doesn't want it talked about. Now he won't sign off on my current report, and wants me to sign it myself. Fat chance. Wow, I bet you've earned a ton of credibility among your peers. You're probably their hero now, especially those who dealt with online that night. Haha, sounds like another toxic workplace. It's pretty ridiculous to throw such a tantrum though. Like, so what if a bug showed up? SH like this happens in development. All a manager can do is prioritize it, assign personnel to fix it and fix it. What the hell do they think screaming at people is going to get them results? This is the typical behavior of stupid general managers. Let's show their power, let's yell at everyone, let's blame everyone, but they won't admit their mistake for anything. And when they're pointed out their flaws, they either ignore them or turn the tables. They're just annoying idiots. And the last story is, I just deleted all the work I did. So I'm very proud of myself for this. This started over a month ago. I was walking down the street when I saw an acquaintance of mine. Her husband and his friend and business partner have just opened a new coffee shop. The shop was very beautiful, and the coffee was amazing. So to show some support, I passed by one day and brought a coffee to support them, and see maybe this could be my go-to coffee place when I'm craving a coffee. I don't want to make it home. So as I'm sitting there, the husband and business partner find out I do social media. I've been doing it for a huge hotel and a famous artist. So they saw my work and wanted to hire me. I said sure. I told them what I do, product photography and video, and I edit and post it on their profile. I gave them my rate. They loved my work and hired me, but said could only afford half of what I was asking. So I said okay, so you'll get the half package. You get what you pay for. They said okay. Now half the package means no photo shoot with my pro cam. They only get phone photos and videos. And I will post twice a week instead of 5 times a week. They soon started to complain, but I moved on, ignored, and did my job, and their followers tripled pretty quickly. They could have gotten more if I was posting 5x instead of twice. The month ends and it's time for payment. I call and text both and no one answers. Then one of the partners texts me and says to pass by to discuss next month's strategy. I tell him not until you pay me. No answer. So I got fed up this morning and went to the profile, deleted everything I've done, and logged out of their account. Can't wait until they see it. Update. The barista that works there just called me. He just quit, his last day is tomorrow. Also, he told me the guy that used to come help them out with the finances and doing the secretarial work in the office for the business just walked off the job 3 days ago because they wanted to cut his salary since winter season started. The dude literally got up and walked out. Update 2. They noticed. They were shocked. Tried to call me, but I blocked their numbers. The barista who quit called me and told me that they were very surprised. Haha. So now they gave access to the wife who's posting the cringiest photos I've ever seen. They went through my followers list and are following my friends. They immediately all texted me and sent me screenshots laughing their A's off. They're losing customers because the barista quit too. All in all, I don't think this business will be open for very long. I don't think this update is as juicy as y'all wanted, but I'm satisfied honestly, and glad they're all alone with 0 employees in that place. Have a great day, everyone. Maybe I had a message for those who were confused. Content deleted due to lack of payment. Because you need to get ahead of the narrative and shape it before someone else shapes it for you. Owners will take to social media and start berating you, talking about how lazy you are, what a bad work ethic they have, how many attitude problems they have, etc. Even if none of this is true, the owners will make it true by telling the online crowd. Many of that crowd will probably never see you in the comments trying to protect themselves. And if the owners list your name, it could hurt your potential future employment. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day.